Cyber Uncut. Discover the changing face of business, government and national security as Australia navigates the cyber revolution.
Welcome everyone to the Cyber Uncut podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Croft. I'm a journalist here at Cyber Daily, and I'm joined by Deputy Editor and Senior Journalist David Hollingworth.
Oh, I didn't get my name. Damn, that's disappointing.
It was going to be a double fake out kind of thing. Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Right,
you got to be on edge at all times.
Yeah, right. Understood.
How's your week gone?
they're all busy ones. This one's been particularly hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because we've got the public holiday on Monday, so a little bit of inside baseball for the people. If it's not a national public holiday, and this is only a public holiday in New South Wales, we still have to do news and get our newsletter out and do all of that. So we're currently writing into the future, Daniel and I. So it's a little bit, okay, we've got today's work done. Let's do tomorrow's work now. And then tomorrow we'll do Monday's work.
Yeah.
Yes, things we do.
Oh, look, it's a busy one. And of course, there's always plenty of news, which is good.
Thankfully, it's like one hell of a news day. I think I had like 7 or 8 articles I could have easily written if I had the time today. So it's just great to be able to bank all these articles for the future. How about you?
Good, obviously, working on lots of different things here at Momentum.
Yes. Watch this space.
Yeah. Other than that, pretty standard week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a pretty good long weekend. I've got a friend's birthday weekend, and then I'm jumping on drums for another band for a one-off show, which will be really, really fun.
Outstanding.
Other than that, pretty standard.
I've got 0 plans for the weekend, and I really like it that way.
Yeah, that does.
Probably a lot of Dune Awakening, let's be honest. But
that counts as no plans. That's nice and chill.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. And you're going to start us off with the University of New England.
Yeah, so we've been talking for a few weeks now about various educational institutions around Australia rolling out AI tools.
Yeah.
And University of New England, or UN, as I like to call it, since it's UNE, is rolling out a platform. I love this. It's called Madgwick.
Yep.
I actually quite like it. It has a name. It certainly meets New South Wales EDU chat.
Yeah.
Sounds weird. So this fellow Madgwick was apparently the first vice chancellor of University of New England, and they're very, very proud of this new app. And I really like what they're proud about it for. So I'll just read this out. This is from UNE current Vice Chancellor, Professor Chris Moran. UNE was on the frontier of distance education 70 years ago when the idea that students could gain a good education without being on a university campus was frowned upon. We're honouring that independent, unconventional spirit as we actively prepare ourselves for the age of AI. Which I kind of like that as a little bit of spin.
Yeah.
And obviously the benefits. AI's out there. This is what we always talk about, right?
Absolutely.
So giving students, whether it be primary, high, or tertiary level, access to AI tools is going to set them up for obviously what they'll be doing when they get out there in the real world.
For sure.
I'm sure there are many jobs out there which don't use AI, but I imagine a lot of the jobs that you're studying for in uni probably do to a degree.
Yeah, and I think
Law,
a lot of those...
engineering, medicine,
AI
is there to stay.
A lot of those jobs that don't use AI yet will do in some capacity in the future, I also assume.
Absolutely.
So,
and again, it's the idea that this is going to support their education, not take over it. It's an enabler more than anything else. But another thing that I really like about what they're saying about it is how having an in-house AI levels the playing field for all students.
Yeah.
Access to the best models comes at a cost that not all our students can afford. And anyone signed up directly to an AI provider can expect that their data will be used for model training and probably for other commercial purposes. And that's the other thing about having the in-house AI. You can guarantee that any research done by a student stays in the hands of that student.
Love
it. This is looking at a real-world phenomenon that we, like it or not, is here.
Yeah.
How do you then bring it in-house to use it in a way which is productive, secure, and safe? Because again, they've also got safeguards in here, so it can't be misused. Yeah. But I really like the fact that every student can afford it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I grew up in a household that lived below the poverty line, and being able to see what other kids could afford, or their parents could afford more accurately, was always galling. So that is. Personally, I quite like that.
I think that's fantastic.
And I think we're going to see schools all around the country, if not all around the world, do exactly this. And as much as I have personal misgivings about AI, I can't hate this.
No, I think it's a case of credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
There are definitely good applications for this technology. I know that what we've seen and observed mostly are profit-making. I mean, not great operation.
We report so often on, what was the last bit of news? I think it was NVIDIA investing. OpenAI investing. No, NVIDIA investing $100 million in OpenAI, which OpenAI is going to turn around and give that money back to NVIDIA for GPUs.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, wait, where's the actual value in this?
Well, there's a whole thing, right, about the bubble burst and everything like that.
But this is a use of AI I can get behind.
Well, speaking of jobs relying on AI, Accenture, the company that recently acquired CyberCX, has announced that it plans to cut staff who they're unable to train to use AI. And they've started big. In the last 3 months, 12,000 staff roughly have been axed, bringing, I think it was 791,000 staff globally down to 779,000. And they plan to train everyone on AI fundamentals. Now, 550,000 of their, I believe they're called reinventors. It's pretty cringy.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Their reinventors have been trained on the basics of generative AI already. This is a big, big thing for them.
I'm just wondering, it's not hard to use ChatGPT.
I think it's probably going to be...
What kind of bar are they setting?
It's probably going to be prompt engineering. Keep in mind, they've trained that many people that quickly. I can't imagine the training is that in-depth. They're not going into really, really hardcore AI stuff yet.
So it just makes me wonder, why exactly these people are being let go if they can't write a prompt.
I think it may also be a case, now I could be wrong on this, that these jobs will also not need AI and that they can go forward with jobs that do use AI to replace them and things like that. They're fully investing in AI. They've already used AI in a couple of its offerings, including its GenWizard platform that pretty much assists other companies with generative AI integration within their own business and stuff like that. So the CEO, I am trying to find her name here. I think it's Julie Sweet. It's definitely Sweet. That's the last name. Why can't I find it? Julie Sweet, yes.
You got it right.
Yeah,
See,
cool.
back yourself. You got to back yourself with these things, yes.
Yeah, so Julie Sweet said in 2023, financial year 2023, we had 40,000 AI and data professionals with roughly 30 people working on a handful of generative AI projects with negligible revenue.
Yeah.
Today, we have 77,000 AI and data professionals. We've worked on more than 6,000 advanced AI projects just this year.
Wow.
We've delivered meaningful revenue in the 2025 financial year.
Yeah, okay.
This is all part of a bigger plan. Now, I know they're axing staff, but they're planning to hire even more.
Gotcha.
So this isn't about reducing workforce.
It's changing the workforce. It's evolving the workforce. All
particularly in the US and Europe, so big markets for Accenture. They're planning on expanding their workforce pretty drastically. And over the next 6 months, they're going through this $865 million US business optimization program.
Bickies. But then again, you're employing nearly 1 million people anyway, so it's always easy to forget just how enormous Accenture is and how many fingers and pies it has.
When you see 12,000 people axed, you go, whoa!
And then you see another what a small part of the workforce it actually is.
Yeah, compared to another company that axes, say, 5,000. But that's a massive percentage of their workforce.
Yep.
So look, the good thing is, I would say, is that they're not just culling workforce. They are
they're trying to be strategic about it.
But
which is about the best you can say, I guess.
Yeah, but the rest of it, they've also been really transparent about this being a profitability thing and gearing themselves up for the future. And they're a business.
They're a business. They've got to please the shareholders, right?
This was during their fourth quarter fiscal 2025 conference call.
Okay.
So they're speaking to people who are going to want to hear this. Pretty alarming number.
It is an alarming number.
And we're seeing it more and more. We saw Lufthansa, the airline.
This week.
They plan to axe 4,000 by 2030.
And again, that's because of the impact of AI.
Yeah, and we've seen it with CBA. We've seen it blah 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 blah. This is a story that's going to be repeated over and over and over and over.
Sadly, it is. But I believe you have something closer to home and an interesting use case that wasn't quite as successful as had been hoped.
Yeah. So Queensland's AI cameras. So they were rolled out, I believe, earlier this year, late last year, something like that, through a trial. And the trial, they were like, yep, we're going to do it. We're catching more baddies who are speeding through or, using their phones and not using seatbelts is specifically what it's about.
Oh, yes, I think I've heard a bit of this. There's all these camera footage of the AI making complete balls up of what they're seeing.
Well, so what they found was that the cameras reduced the need for human review of cases by 98%.
Okay,
Fantastic.
Good, yes.
However, the audit found there was an audit and the transport agency had not yet undertaken a full ethical risk assessment as required by the Queensland government's AI governance policy.
Okay.
The catch here, when they launched the trial, the AI governance policy didn't exist.
Oh, interesting.
So they're not really getting slapped around for this. It's just a case of, all right, well, there's this now. You now need to do this, but you just haven't
before
yet.
the horse, kind of.
Yeah. So the report acknowledges that, but it also said that across all of its AI, including its AI assistant QChat, Queensland Government AI assistant, that the government lacks full visibility of AI systems, and not just with the cameras, with everything.
Yeah, that's an issue. That to me, it seems like a perfect case of rushing too fast.
Yeah.
AI, when your own internal regulations and regulatory standards just don't even exist yet.
We've seen this countless times where the AI develops faster than the regulation. So the TMR, which I'm going to get what that's called, Transport and Main Roads.
Oh, that makes sense.
There we go. The TMR said it's currently developing a framework over the next 12 months for what it says is centralized visibility of its AI system. So everything. So good. It's a bit of a mix-up. Great. We have these cameras here in New South Wales now, I believe. We've spoken about it before. South Australia, I think. So it's going to become commonplace. So having this roll out properly here.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've come out of a trial, but this is proving it's still a trial.
Yeah, and I want to go back to University of New England again, because they just speaking of trials, they also had a long trial period for this platform, and I do like to see that these are long trial periods,
as they should be.
It's been being used by the teachers, so they're all happy with it. So I thought it was worth coming back to.
But on that note, I think we might take a quick break, bit of a quick AI one today, and we'll.
Because we've got a lot of cyber coming up.
We do, yeah. Thank you. I completely stalled. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Cyber Uncut podcast. I'm Daniel Croft, and I'm joined by...
David Hollingworth.
There we go.
Hey.
All right. You're holding one now.
I'm holding one now.
Let's get started.
I'll hold it up to the camera for a bit of product placement.
I am not. No. And it's not related to what we're about to talk about.
Well, this
Asahi.
is. Asahi hackers are coming for our beer. This one's... So, this was this week. Asahi's operations in Japan, don't worry about anywhere else, or the UK, where they have a lot of breweries, or here, because they also own Carlton and United breweries.
They do.
Carlton and United breweries is safe before anyone starts panicking.
I believe it's Sapporo that owns all of it?
Yeah,
they own TUIs and they own everything.
But yes, they have been hit by what looks like a classic piece of OT ransomware. They've said, we are actively investigating the cause and working to restore operations. However, there is currently no estimated timeline for recovery. Thankfully, the system failure is limited to their Japanese operations. And as they've said, none of Asahi's manufacturing operations in Europe, including its UK beer supply, that'd be a riot, are impacted by this incident. As far as Asahi can tell, no customer or client data has happened. So that makes me think this has just hit the OT stuff. This has hit their operational technology and taken their production lines offline. They don't know who the attacker is. We haven't been able to see anything yet on the dark web. No. And it's one of those things where you look at it and go, oh, it kind of, stinks of Jaguar Land Rover. And all that kind of stuff, which makes you think, oh, could it be shiny, scattered hunter spiders? That's a horrible thought. But we just don't know. And we may never know.
We may never know.
Which is the thing. But regardless, this is the largest beer maker in Japan, and it's stopped. Dead.
And
anybody who has some kind of OT in their organizational mix should absolutely be looking at this and going, how the heck do I secure my stack?
And the thing is, yes, it's completely Japanese operations, but a lot of countries, including Australia, drink Japanese-made Asahi, I
Yes.
believe that's Australian, but I could
Yes,
be
it is.
wrong.
I do believe this is bottled in Australia. It's
But
handy that we've got this here. It's not just it's not just my alcoholism now. It's actually assisting the program.
Yep, that's what it's for.
Yeah. Where was this made? Brewed and made in Australia under supervision of Asahi. Well, probably not at the moment. They're too busy trying to get their production lines back on.
But I believe this is the case at least with Sapporo.
Yeah.
I believe the cans, the tall cans,
Oh,
the
yes.
long necks,
Yeah.
they may be Japanese made. Maybe.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh, you just reminded me of one of my favourite trips to Japan. And I know, tangent, it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's relevant
Stepping onto the bullet train from Tokyo to Osaka. And if there's one thing the Japanese understand, it's travel snacks.
Yeah.
And I managed to get on with like an armful of fish jerky, which was
Yeah.
and a tall can of Asahi with a handle.
Yeah, I know the ones.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I've got salty snack, I've got beer mug, and I was
Life's good.
traveling at Mach heck across the Japanese landscape, and that was just a genuinely good day. And the hackers have now come to that, but yeah.
I so
mean, we
badly wanna
laugh,
go to Japan.
but like the attack on JLR, which we will have a bit on for a moment, I understand. Who knows what this means for all the workers involved? And again, all the third-party suppliers that might be part of Asahi's supply chain. I mean, this is,
As part of a bit of a connection to JLR, that was pretty devastating.
Yes.
JLR, while it is owned by an Indian company,
all the production's in the UK.
Yeah. A lot of it's a massive part of the UK manufacturing industry.
Well, let's move on to that because we do have more updates on that one.
So
Dan is the car guy on the podcast, so he's like, "Oh, take the car one, please."
Yeah, I do like my cars.
Yeah.
Okay, so while Asahi's production may have stopped, JLR has announced that finally theirs may be continuing, which is really good to hear.
Dollars of government handouts, which I'm not trying to say that they don't deserve it because obviously they've got to find the money somewhere to pay their staff and keep going, but. Yeah.
A lot of people aren't happy about that. So
I'm not surprised.
JLR said that on the 29th of September that it would be restoring its manufacturing within days.
Yeah.
Now, it said the words here were, as the controlled phased restart of our operations continues, we're taking further steps towards our recovery and the return to manufacture of our world-class vehicles. Today, we're informing colleagues, retailers and suppliers that some sections of our manufacturing operations will resume in the coming days. Lovely. They've got operations, manufacturing plants in Solihull, Wolverhampton, and Halewood on Merseyside, which I love. It's such
I
a British
love
sounding
any
place.
British place name which has X on Y.
Yeah.
It's just
So that is continuing. As you did mention, they have been given a massive government handout, £1.5 billion.
Yeah.
It's like 2.7 billion Australian dollars, something like that, more even.
Who knows what the exchange rate is right now?
Yeah, roughly around that.
Yeah.
It's a massive amount of money. I know a lot of people aren't happy. They're like, why has this one private company gotten all of this money from the government?
It's a good point because this is a large car maker. You'd expect they've got some money in the bank.
Yeah.
And you cannot just keep handing out money to everybody who gets hacked.
The thing is, I will say about a company like JLR, like they're not a boutique manufacturer in the sense that they only make 7 or 8 cars a year.
Yeah.
But they aren't making massive amounts of cars like Toyota, for example.
Yeah.
And keeping manufacturing in the UK, things like that. It would be an expensive process. These are luxury cars using luxury parts.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be sold as frequently. Yes, you have to sell them at a higher margin, but I can't imagine as far as car companies go, they're rolling in it. I don't know exactly their financial standard.
You don't know what their profit margins are like.
So I don't know what kind of financial state they're in. It's also a hard one because being owning Jag, if you then move up your price, you're then competing with, depending on how much you do.
But it's interesting
much more luxury
that
car
point
brands.
that, this is a private company getting government support for a cyber attack. And how many UK firms, big ones, we've talked about in this podcast, have been hit by cyber attacks, have taken them offline?
Yeah.
Harrods, Marks & Spencer,
exactly.
Co-op, all
Why
those guys.
did JLR get it?
Yeah.
The reason really is because of workers and third party.
Yeah.
It was just a massive shockwave on all the manufacturing industry surrounding JLR. So that's why they've done it. They do have to pay it back. It's not a handout.
Okay, cool. It's not a handout. It's
they've got to pay it back over 5 years.
Yep.
And
okay, I'm you know what? I'm about that.
Yeah. The government is going to be getting that money back as far as I'm aware. And it was a big deal. Like JLR was losing roughly £50 million a week, according to the BBC. They'd already announced that they'd restored some digital systems, meaning that they weren't going pen and paper for sales and things like that. Which
we'll write up a receipt for you in our handwriting.
Yeah, it's a lot better than how M&S and Co-op and Harrods had to deal with not having any ability to have stock on shelves and sell. JLR is suffering, and they got a massive payout.
Yeah, but it looks like they're coming back online, so that's great for all the workers. It's great for the third-party suppliers that are impacted by it.
Yeah.
But boy, again, is it illustrative that if these big companies with global footprints can get disrupted so heavily by an attack, I mean, God, what do SMEs? Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Go Anywhere, weirdly enough.
Yes. So we've been talking about this one for a while. I mean, Go Anywhere has not had a great history when it comes to vulnerabilities.
No.
There was a big one a couple of years ago that the Clop gang, I love that word, Clop, with a zero, which makes it really, really hard to type, took advantage of a vulnerability in Go Anywhere, which is a file transfer
It was
platform.
2023,
I think.
Yeah, I believe, because we were
all over that. Yeah,
we were.
So they have disclosed, as of, I think, September 22, a new vulnerability, CVE 2025-10035. Now, this is a perfect 10.
Yeah.
Which is on severity score. It cannot get more severe than this. But they've basically gone, okay, look, it should only affect, some of our customers that have network-facing devices, and it should only... it's been added to CISA's KEV catalog, that's known exploited vulnerabilities.
Yep.
It's being exploited. Fortra, who makes Go Anywhere, have been very, very quiet. They've not been talking about how this has happened, what level of exploitation is. They're just being really, really quiet. And it's gotten one particular security company and one of their engineers... not engineer, sorry, CEO. I was looking at something else. Benjamin Harris, CEO and founder of Watchtower. He's going, nah, about this one. Well, not like that. He's probably an American. He didn't have an idea what nah is. But Fortra has shared some indicators of compromise. And they're basically going, if you have indicators of compromise, then you're aware of compromise.
Yeah.
Why haven't you mentioned this? The sharing of those IOCs makes us logically uneasy because it strongly suggests that attackers may already be active. For a purely theoretical vulnerability, you'd typically expect the guidance to stop at version checks and patching, not to dig into logs looking for signs of compromise. The fact that Fortra went further implies this isn't just a hypothetical risk, and this is not one to gamble on. I actually reached out to Watchtower after reading their blog post on this because... it's a highly technical post with a lot of code, and I'm a writer, not a coder. So I actually went back to them going, could you just put together a few paragraphs in language a dumb journo could understand? And thankfully they helped us, and actually quite a lot of writing. The presence of IOCs suggests exploitation may already be happening. We've not even been able to produce a working exploit because of the signature check, which we believe can only be satisfied by someone with a private key. Given this and the changes to the code base, we believe Fortra is aware of this. Basically, he's calling Fortra out, going, you know more than you're saying, and do better. In the wild exploitation aside, the mystery surrounding this vulnerability remains. Per part 1 of our analysis, we are unclear how exploitation of this vulnerability is possible unless a few very scary scenarios are played out, including attackers gaining control over private keys owned by Fortra. Now that in the wild exploitation is confirmed by CISA, the mystery only grows. So I reached out to Fortra to see what they had to say, and I got to say their response wasn't inspiring.
I can't imagine it was.
CVE 2025-135 is primarily relevant... I don't know why I'm doing a different voice. Primarily relevant to organizations with a Go Anywhere admin console exposed to the internet. I'm sure that's quite a few of them. It's a file transfer system. Upon identifying the vulnerability, we immediately notified those customers and continue to provide direct updates and support. Our investigation is ongoing and our security advisory outlines what organizations need to know based on current findings. We will provide additional information as it becomes available. They're not even mentioning it.
Yeah.
It's just I'm kind of with Watchtower on this one.
Me too. I think it's very, very easy. I mean, we try really hard to sympathise with victims, but I think
All the time, yeah.
they've gone through this a number of times now, and
But they're not the victim. It's the victims, the ones who are depending upon this
Yeah, well, that's
platform,
it. Well,
whose data could be heck knows where.
why does anyone even use GoAnywhere anymore?
I mean, look, I'm
because
sure it's a fine platform. We don't want anyone to come after us.
No,
but
true.
I got to say, I'd be worrying about it if we're part of it.
my concern would be that, I know they say on their website that like it's a secure transfer
The
service.
whole point. Managed file transfer. Go anywhere MFT.
History has shown that the secure part can come into question.
Badly managed file
Yeah,
transfer
so
program.
of course, yeah, I'm not having a go at the people who use GoAnywhere.
Of course not.
I'm having a go at
Fortra.
Fortra.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's why.
Like, we rarely go after companies, but I just agree with Watchtower. I think Fortune knows more than they're saying. Or they don't know, and that's arguably even scarier.
That is
Yeah.
probably worse. But
yeah.
but from what he wrote, it seems that they may know.
They may know. And, of course, you want to be sure before you say anything, but it's already in the Kev catalogue. Does anyone call it the Kev catalogue? We're calling it the Kev catalogue now.
All right.
Yeah, the known exploited vulnerabilities catalogue.
Yeah.
It's KEV.
Yeah, the Kev catalogue.
Yeah, it's in the Kev catalogue.
Yeah.
So CISA knows it's happening. I'm pretty sure Watchtower knows it's happening. Fortra must know it's happening.
Well, you'd hope.
You would hope.
You would hope.
But, it means that, what we could be looking at. Because at the time when this was disclosed, a whole mess of analysts were like, whoa, this is going to be bad. Because we know what the last one was.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see an operator like Klopp or someone else just coming up with a huge dump of data
Yeah.
that they've gotten from any number of companies that use GoAnywhere. And we'll just see history repeating itself.
We're due for another massive supply chain
What time
attack.
of year is it? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Supply chain.
We haven't had one for 5 minutes.
Oh, you are right there, yeah.
And on that note, let's move on. Again, more local.
Mm-hmm. More local, yeah.
Australian clinical labs. So
So this one dates back to a while back. God, when was it?
2022
That's
February.
That's right. I'm sitting right here in front of me. Yeah. So the hack itself was interesting. So there's a bit of history behind it. Australian Clinical Labs, ACL, also the something crucial ligament.
Yep.
Australian Christian Lobby.
There you go.
Not them.
Not them. They have not been breached.
Acquired an outfit called MedLab Pathology in December 2021 and brought it inside their operation.
I can imagine largely due to, we need to expand because of COVID.
Yeah, we'll take these guys. Pathology
Yeah.
services, booming business back
Yeah.
then. God, you're absolutely right, aren't you? What a time. And then the way ACL talks about it, it's like they basically had this old MedLab server sitting around that no one knew what to do with, and that's what the hackers got into. So approximately 223,000 Australians were impacted by this breach. We're talking health data, personal details, credit card and Medicare numbers. Like it's less than great, and all in 86 gigabytes of data. In November 2023, the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner began legal proceedings, basically going, "Oh, you've done screwed up."
Yep.
And now ACL has agreed to pay out a $5.8 million penalty and a $400,000 sum to cover the commissioner's legal costs.
Yep.
They're basically, is this gone before the courts, and the courts will adjudicate it? But this is what they've said they'll do. We'll pay up. We've done poorly.
I do feel a little bad. They acquired ACL in December. And by the next, MedLab, sorry. ACL acquired MedLab in December, and by the next February, literally 2 months later, breached.
Yeah.
So I'm a little sympathetic.
Okay, it's a really good point, but it's
If you're buying a company, you kind of need to vet
go through the
security
data, and it is a lot of data. But
Yeah, sure, but
yeah. So ACL, this is from a statement they released on the 29th. ACL would like to again apologise to the MedLab customers and employees who were impacted as a result of the cyber attack. While the MedLab cyber attack was isolated to the newly acquired MedLab business, we remain steadfast in our commitment to the protection of patient data, data governance, and continuously improving our cybersecurity systems and controls. But yeah, they do make that point you kind of make. We just got them.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, when it's people's medical data, that's kind of important.
Yeah. Massively important. And I can imagine they had. Is there a number of how many people were impacted?
More than 200,000.
Oh yeah, you said yeah.
Yeah.
Because they
So
would have had.
it's kind of like small change compared to some breaches we've seen recently.
Sure,
but nonetheless, if you're in part of those 200,000 people, that's serious.
It's extensive data, and
Yeah.
they would have had the extensive data on lots and lots and lots of people around then, because people were going in every few days and going, I'm going to go get a COVID test.
Yeah. And imagine that, you're in the middle of a once in a multi-generation pandemic, and some jerk script kiddie who's managed to buy medical information on you from a dark web hacking forum calls you up and tries to extort money out of you, or they'll tell your friends you've got, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the last thing you want in that period of time.
They were overwhelmed at that time. I have a personal story. It's a little bit of a tangent, where that Christmas, that 2021 Christmas, I was still living at home, and my sister got COVID just before Christmas.
Yeah.
It was really quite sad. We had her sit outside the glass door while we ate, and then had a table that joined in.
Oh.
It was the best we could do so that she could actually join us for lunch, because we didn't want to get sick. Anyway, she gotten a COVID test, I think 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
And it hadn't come back after a week. And so I had to storm in to Australian Clinical Labs and say, hey, my sister is freaking out. I need this test. And it had just slipped through the cracks. And they had to do it there and then while I was waiting in the car park. And it was like, obviously the sample would have been expired
what
by
month
then.
And what year was this?
This would have been 2021.
Okay, good, cool.
Yeah. So,
okay. Just which sort of laughed is like, I'm now picturing it like you storm in and you create a scene. Meanwhile, someone's not noticing their monitor. You are being hacked.
it was literally during this period.
Yeah.
Granted, they had a lot on their plate. I'm not holding that against them. They were just dealing with
it's a hell of a busy time.
a lot. So,
And you're dealing with criminals who are willing to take advantage.
Yeah. Low hanging fruit and all that.
Oh, and unfortunately, that's a segue into the next story.
This is a pretty vile one.
We talk a lot about the fact that a lot of the hackers that we monitor consider themselves to be penetration testers and security engineers in their own right, and all they want to do is get paid for the work they're doing to expose network faults, which we all know is bullcrap.
Yeah,
I didn't
utter
swear
crap.
that time.
I nearly did.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to during this because I have strong feelings. If there's a beep or two, I apologise now to the listeners and to our audio team. This did the rounds in the UK because it affected a UK nursing childcare outfit called Kiddo Schools, which is part of the Kiddo International Group. And if you're already getting a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, it's about as bad as you can think. This group, Radiant, is threatening to publish the personal data of more than 8,000 kids.
Yeah.
And these are young kids. These are 3 and 4 year olds.
It's
and
daycare.
Younger. It's daycare, yeah. And deep breath. Don't get too angry. This is the first time that this group has hacked anyone, and they've swung for the bleachers in proving how awful they are.
Yeah.
They've already published some sample data. One is a screenshot of a list of employees, so they have all of that. Then they thought, it'll cause some impact. We're going to post some kids' photos, details and addresses of their parents, their names, where they're from, and a photo of that kid. And I can't think of... We've seen some horrible instances of people taking advantage of the data they find in these breaches. But this one's got to be up there.
It's massively up there. As a testament to how bad this one is. So Dark Web Informer,
yes, we talked about
researcher.
this before the pod.
Yeah, so he usually will find breaches and he'll post onions or links to them and everything like that.
I'm not sure.
She. Okay,
let's go with they.
Let's go with they.
Yeah.
So they post, breaches.
Yep.
News of
we
breaches.
both follow Dark Web Informer.
And
very
they'll supply, addresses.
onion addresses. Yeah.
However, with this one, they specifically said, I have not in this case, because these are photos of children.
Yeah.
These are young kids, and I don't think it's appropriate that anyone should be looking at this.
No, it's not.
And I was going to actually cover this on really early days before it had been covered.
Yeah.
It came out, and then it was a case of, all right, well, it's definitely worth people knowing that this kind of horribleness exists.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be someone to break this. But I think it is worth the coverage.
Yeah,
and,
it is. So
I think it was definitely worth you covering it.
We got to it a bit late, and there had been some development since the first rash of reporting on it, because. So I Let's stop for a bit. I'll just pause and I'll read out some of what this threat actor said on their leak site. We currently possess sensitive data on over 8,000 children and their relatives, grandparents, aunties, uncles, parents, everyone! Exclamation mark. Plus all employees and company data. We provided samples for you below. This does not include any accident reports, safeguarding reports, billing, or anything in bulk yet, as we're giving kiddo a chance. Oh!
Yeah.
Bravo.
Absolute saints.
Hearts of gold.
Yeah. No, I hope they rot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They said they were owed compensation for their pen test. I'm not going to say what I think because it had to be all bleeped out.
Yeah.
But and this does make me laugh bitterly. They've since blurred all those images.
I think even they've gone.
But due to recent backlash, we've decided all photos from now on will be blurred. Data remains. More is coming soon.
Which means they've pissed off buyers of this data. There are other criminals have gone, hey man.
That's a really good point, because I was just thinking as I read that out, wait a minute, they're not going to be worried about, the news coverage. They're hackers, for heck's sake.
They're not worried about that. They're not worried about keto. In fact, they're going to love the pressure.
Imagining, like somewhere on Telegram or on Breach Forum or something, people going, steady on, chaps.
Yeah.
That's not cricket.
Yeah, they've got a lolly anime profile picture, and they're looking at this and going, dude, no.
I like crimes as much as the next person, but that's not a good crime.
Yeah, that's messed up. You can't do that. You guys are new kids on the block. That was not a pun, because I don't think a pun is appropriate at this time at all.
I'm laughing at your response, not anything to do with this.
No, yeah.
But yeah, so Kiddo is doing everything they can to support the families involved. I feel terrible for all concerned, except for the hackers who I hope go to hell.
Yeah, likewise. And on that
I
note,
believe in hell, and I hope they go.
Yeah. On that note, good news. Let's do some good news after a break.
After a break.
We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Cyber Uncut podcast.
That break could have been longer, because I've got to say, we basically take a breath and go on, and the AV guys can put something in. I really could have gone for a walk around the office right there.
I did hear you do a long breath that hadn't finished when I started.
Oh, it makes me so angry.
All right.
But yes, okay, good news.
Yes, good news. Interpol.
This
is one of yours.
This is one of mine. So, hackers getting arrested. You gotta love it. In fact, more accurately, scammers getting arrested.
Yippee.
Interpol recently coordinated a massive law enforcement operation in Africa. 14 countries and all of the associated law enforcement agencies. 2 independent private businesses, I think Group IB and Trend Micro were involved.
Okay.
They were. And the countries are Angola, Benin, Burkina Faso. Why am I doing this reading out foreign language names? It's going to be great. Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, Uganda, and Zambia.
Wow.
And they caught 260 alleged scammers. They seized 1,235 electronic devices, and they identified 1,400 victims. And they're estimating that the losses from these scam operations, mostly romance scams, some of the photos I saw just showed tables full of mobile phones being used by these various scammers, and they estimate 2.8 million US in losses connected with these scam operations.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is good news, but to just to
shift to the bad. Yeah.
It's probably a drop in the ocean.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A
lot of these scam hubs, for a lot of people in these very, very poor countries, is their only way to any kind of well-off lifestyle. They don't even necessarily mean wealth, because I guarantee you they're run by a higher-up organisation, a part of large organised crime operations. But regardless, these are poor countries, and if you have some kind of computer skill, you probably can't get a job.
Yeah.
What else is there? Crime.
I think I've even heard of cases, I could be completely wrong on this, I say that a lot, but I could be completely wrong on this. I think it was a scam centre based in India.
Yep.
And there was a guy who went there looking for work. They're like, hey, you've got IT skills, whatever. He got there, realised it was a scam centre, and they wouldn't let him leave.
No, you get that a lot in Southeast Asia as well.
Yeah, he just could not leave.
Yeah, in the Golden Triangle. So there's a lot of unlicensed casinos in that area of the world, and they're used to launder money from scam. What do they call them? Scam hot rooms? Something? boiler rooms often, yeah.
Yep.
Basically, huge compounds, really organised, and people are effectively enslaved there. So we often go, don't blame the victim, hate the perpetrator. But in these cases, sometimes the perpetrators themselves are victims.
Yeah. So I hope some of those arrests were
of people who
higher
are
ups.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's where the
Regardless,
issue is.
it's a dent in that particular cybercrime ecosystem, and we know these overseas scam centres often target people here in Australia as well.
Yeah.
So bravo Interpol, bravo all the law enforcement agencies working on that, bravo Trend Micro and Group IB for assisting. So yeah. Good news. Crimes equal arrest.
And more good news. I would say it's good news.
Look, it's not bad news, so I'll take it.
Yeah, look, honestly. So, the Cyber Incident Review Board.
Here in Australia?
Yeah, here in Australia. Something that was established as part of the Cybersecurity Act 2024 is being put together. The federal government is looking for members. So this is going to be an independent body that does no-fault assessments and analysis of big-time cyber incidents. So, not here to get you for making a mistake.
Analyze what happened, learn from it.
Benefit the entire cyber ecosystem.
All that stuff. Yeah.
So Home Affairs said the Department of Home Affairs, funnily enough they said that, is seeking suitably qualified individuals to establish the Cyber Incident Review Board. The Minister of Home Affairs will appoint a chair and up to 6 standing members to the board.
Yeah.
Applicants will have the opportunity to nominate the position they wish to be considered for. The board will be sourced from our community and business sectors to represent Australia's rich diversity in professional experience, gender, cultural background, and age.
Yep.
So the kind of people they're looking for, I believe, are people who are obviously have some cyber professional experience, legal professional experience as well. Because this is really, really, really important work. It's a pretty key part of this Cybersecurity Act.
Yeah.
So they've also added the board will only review an incident after it's occurred and initial investigation and response efforts have been completed.
Good, because you don't want to get in the way of the actual remediation of an incident.
There needs to be obviously there's a rapid incident response when these things happen. You got to let the company recover, get back to normal.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a discussion.
These guys want to look at the entire incident from start to finish.
Yeah.
The complete cycle from initial penetration and attack through to remediation, through to communication with stakeholders and victims, through to the end, so they can look at the whole thing.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I did hear about this, and for a moment I thought, that'd be a really interesting thing to be on. I think you had the same thought.
I did too.
Because you've got to think that you and I are uniquely positioned in that regard.
Yeah.
We know more about cybercrime impacting Australian businesses than I'd say anyone outside of the ASD and ACS thing.
Yeah.
Or the various cyber professionals that you and I know professionally.
As people who aren't cyber professionals where we know a decent chunk. Now, something we'd probably be more kind of supportive in is the expert panel that will be supporting the Cyber Incident Review Board.
Yeah.
So this is going to be made up of public and private sector individuals, again, legal or cybersecurity experience. So now, once the board
you know what? I'm going to throw my hat into the ring.
Do it.
That just seems like a good thing to do.
Do it.
Yeah.
Now, you might have to wait. Cyber Incident Review Board will be established. And then once that's done, the board will put together an expression of interest process for the expert panel. So, throw your hat in the ring. That'd be really cool. It'd be a great article.
It would be a great article. It's probably not allowed to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, probably not.
But no, look, it is great to see Australia taking this very seriously. As we know it has. We've got our Cybersecurity 2030 strategy.
Yep.
I'm all for it. This is great stuff.
The Cybersecurity Act and the strategy are all things that have come into play while we've been working in the industry.
Being able to watch that evolution has been really quite fascinating.
And as we know, this is coming out in chunks, this 2030 strategy. So it'll be really, really cool to see how we gear up.
It's interesting to think, one could argue that they need to be moving faster. This should have already been stood up last year or whenever. You can't move fast on this.
No.
Yes, crime is happening right now, but you need to get all of this stuff right.
Yeah.
You want to get it right first time.
Yeah.
It's too important to rush it through.
And look, former Cybersecurity Minister Claire O'Neill, I loved
my
her
friend
language.
Claire.
Your bestie.
Yeah.
Like her language of making Australia the most cybersecure nation on the planet by 2030.
I mean, it's bold.
It also takes time.
It does take time.
It does take time. So, this is fantastic news. It's also really fascinating. Obviously, if you think you're you're ready for this, go on to Home Affairs, apply.
Yeah.
Become part of this.
I will then. Yeah. Fine.
But yeah, no, the expert panel, I think,
is good one, yeah. And honestly, since getting involved with cybersecurity, I've wanted to do more than just write about it. I want to do something to support the nation, which sounds so weird. I'm obviously hanging out with way too much because he's a reservist, right?
Yeah.
So he's doing his bit. Like, well, how can I do my bit?
Yeah.
I'm way too old for the reserves. So yeah, cyber reserves maybe.
Cyber reserve. That's
coming.
It is.
I believe so.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Actually, no, you've mentioned this.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing that portions of the ADF want to stand up, and I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a really good idea as well.
A number of countries in Europe already have what are basically referred to as cyber militias, and why wouldn't you? You have reservists in all other arms. Well, why not cyber? Anyway, that's off topic.
No, I want to talk about this now. Here we go. So Defence, the Australian Defence Force, or the defence.gov, has said cyber reserves will contribute specialised skills to safeguarding Australia's critical networks, be part of a pioneering force that strengthens national resilience and make an operational impact on defence cyber missions. Yeah. That's super cool.
It is,
I know we have touched on this before, but I love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a way to tap a lot of talent that otherwise would remain untapped. And the fact is that our cyber enemies, both criminal and nation-state backed, are not going anywhere. They're getting stronger.
Yeah.
As you and I know, these incidents that we write about all the time aren't going to go away. Sure, it's been a little bit quiet in Australia at the moment that we know of.
Yeah.
But that's just a transient thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, every time I chat to a cybersecurity professional and go, "Is this just a new normal?" They're like, "Yeah, this is just how we live now."
Yeah. On that note...
Oh, sorry, I brought it down again, didn't I?
No. Good news. We're all in good news. We're in a good mood. And on that note, I think we should end.
That sounds good.
Thank you very much for listening. We will be back next week.
We will.
If you wanted to find David or I, we're on LinkedIn. You can sign up to our newsletter on the Cyber Daily website.
That's www.cyberdaily.au.
Yeah, not .com.au.
No.
.au.
Just pure.au. Yes.
And there you can find the podcast. You can find all our articles that we discuss every week in this podcast.
Yep.
So, thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.
Goodbye.